squared.
We're going to talk about the A's and B's of K-pop.
Yes, I don't know if this is episode 10 or 11 or what, but I'll number it accordingly.
Perfect.
When it goes up.
I think we're in double digits.
Yeah.
We've really been cranking them out for the past 6 months.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so.
Couple of hard workers. All right, K-pop. I love it still.
We're still doing the podcast, so
yeah,
I like it
still love
as
it.
well. So what the topic of today is something that's, we've broached the subject before, but not like focused on it.
Yeah.
Is the kind of this notion of like this idea that Westerners have that they don't write their songs or play their instruments.
That's what we believe about K-pop.
Correct.
Like when you hear about K-pop, you're like, they're not writing their own songs, they're not playing instruments.
That's what I think.
They might not even be singing. That's for sure what I thought.
My impression. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's my impression, and we can talk today about if that's true or what are we think about that now, and is it that type of a thing. So
okay, let's do it. So that was when I first saw BTS, probably on I saw them on an evening, like a nighttime talk show, like they're performing on. I was gonna say Jay Leno, not that old. Not Jay Leno, one of the replacements.
We're that old, but they're
Jimmy,
not.
right. And I was like, oh, they're just like a created boy band. They don't write their own songs. They don't play their own instruments. They probably do lip sync. They're cute and they're dancing. That's what I thought, and I didn't even try to see if that was true or not. What did you think? What was your impression when you first... What did you think?
I remember they were going to do Black Swan on one of those songs.
Yeah.
And I don't stay up that late, and I don't watch TV. So I saw it on YouTube. And I remember it started, and I went, oh, they're dancing, and I went off of it.
Yeah.
Did not even compute. And then I ended up seeing a dance. They kept showing up in my feed, and then finally I clicked on it when a dance practice for Danger. And I went, whoa, what was that? And obviously they weren't singing because it was a practice video.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I had any impression that they weren't singing or that they didn't write their songs. I didn't really have an inkling about that.
I kind of thought they were created in the same vein as like One Direction, who I haven't done any research, so I have no idea if One Direction writes their own songs, but they were kind of like put together. And like New Kids on the Block was like, they did like a casting call kind of thing. Like they didn't organically grow up as a band kind of thing. They were put together by, so kind of the same thing. And I don't know that New Kids on the Block ever wrote any of their songs. Like that was my impression back in the day, and I still don't know.
I never connected to any of the boy bands, so I never really could talk about them from like the U.S. boy bands. I remember Menudo. Well, that's how old that was. But I don't remember any of their songs. I never listened to them or anything. But I don't know how they were formed and did they write or whatever, or even what their performances were like. I never really got into those, so I don't have that context for that. But I remember watching one of the variety shows, and BTS was on it, and one of the members of Super Junior, who is no longer a member.
A Korean variety show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember that member's name because I came to like Super Junior after he had left.
Yeah.
He had said, do you write your own songs? And he was like really surprised. And they were like, yeah. And he's like, really? And I thought, oh, that's a different thing. Oh, that's not the norm. Okay. Yeah. All right. And I think that there are, now that I listen to a bunch of different bands, there are bands that write their own songs, or they have influences they'll write some of them.
Mm-hmm. So
like Super Junior writes some of the songs for the band, but there are subunits. Like Ye-sung writes most of his own songs.
Yeah.
D&E, Donghae and Yoonhook, Donghae writes all their songs. The whole group itself tend to select other music. But I wonder, like, can the younger bands, even really select their music, or is it like, here's what you're doing?
Yeah.
here's what your concept is. You're going to do this kind of a thing, because originally BTS was more of a hip hop.
Yeah.
And then the company changed their direction. I don't know if the band had any real say in that, so I wonder about that. I think what it's done for me is, and then obviously some bands do play their own instruments, and then some of them play instruments, but they don't play it in, that's not their role in the, they're not like an instrument playing band, but they play instruments.
Yeah.
I think this has really made me think a lot about my feelings about this.
Yeah, like what's important, maybe? Like
maybe.
Do you value musicians more than performers, or let's see.
So I would say that previously, regarding like U.S. Western music, oh yeah, I'm much more into like singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
And so most of my friends are into that too, and so there's been little comments of like, do they play? I'll be like, oh, they play their own instruments. Oh, really?
Oh, that's fine.
Because we have like a language to speak. And I definitely never looked kindly on U.S. pop music because they don't write their own stuff.
Yeah.
And like Britney Spears.
Did Janet Jackson ever write any of her own songs?
I doubt it.
Like you hear this song was written for Britney Spears, or it was written for Salt and Pepper, but Britney Spears took it or something like that. Like, did Brandy write any of her own songs? Did Destiny's Child? I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm not a huge U.S. pop fan. Still to this day, I'm like, whatever. So I can't really speak a lot about the groups or the acts, but I definitely have some snobbery towards that. And but I don't think I've transferred it to K-pop because it's a different culture. So I recognize that and can't place the same type of thing on it. But I've also come to realize, like, well, if somebody else writes a song for a group, there's still talent in that.
Yeah.
There's somebody who doesn't perform but is writing music, and there's talent in that to then take it and make it your own. I just don't know how many companies allow the bands to make it their own, or if the producers decide. Because one thing I'm totally curious about, Amy, so let's say Yoongi writes a song for BTS.
Yeah.
Who decides who sings which parts and which are rapped?
Yeah.
And like, okay, this is going to be Jimin, all right, this is Jungkook, okay, this is RM. Like, who decides that?
Yeah. I don't know. I have heard some, like, lately they've been a little bit more maybe like transparent or talked about their processes a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Where like Yoongi wrote, he wrote this song, Spring Day? Not Spring Day. I can't remember. He wrote the song and it appeared on their, one of their albums as kind of like a ballady, kind of a ballad song that everybody had a part in. And then he like put his own version of it on his album, which is more poppy, which is like a little bit surprising for Suga August D because he's more of a rapper. But it sounds like, or they were like, oh, everybody submitted melody for this song. Like the idea is let's write a song, let's write Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Blood, what is it?
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It really is that. Oh my gosh. Noonwool, eye water. And like everyone submitted like an idea for the melody, and they chose Jimin's for this one. Like they would be like the producers chose Jimin's.
Yeah, so I think what I do value is the bands having some connection to their artistic vision.
Yeah.
But I've come to like not frown so much upon like, oh, they don't write their own songs. Because they might, and they might write some of them, and they might write just for their subunits and not for the whole band, but that the band gets to be part of how their sound evolves and what they want to do. But that's why like you have individuals. So now all of the solo work that the group has done, BTS, they're all very different. And I think that's why I fully support that, because it's them growing as artists, and then they can have a certain sound as the band, and they can have different sounds as individuals. BTS obviously with their success has been afforded a lot more latitude.
Yeah.
But I think it is interesting. So I've been giving it a lot of thought because I was telling a friend that I was gonna go see the Rose, and I had to be like,
the Rose.
They play their
so
own
what's
stuff.
the deal with the Rose? Do they write their own songs?
You just are so sick of me talking about it.
No, I like the Rose, and I like them a lot. But that seems to be a big deal for you, that they write their own songs, they play their own instruments, like they're a band.
It kind of is.
It's a big deal to you.
They control everything. They are their own company.
Right? Were they with a big? Mm-mm. They never were.
Mm-mm. I think Wooseong was a trainee, and one of maybe Dojun was also a trainee, but they left their companies, and so now they have a company that it's just them, and they control every part of their career, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I'm
not sick of hearing about them. I think they're great too. I think they're great too.
So I was just talking to a friend about that, and I had to make them. They write their own stuff, like they play their own. Oh, okay. And then there was an instant level of like, all right, valid. Like, okay, they might be right.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking more like we should talk about this.
Yeah.
And I do carry a prejudice, but mostly towards U.S. pop.
Yeah.
Which I just don't like very much. Every now and then there'll be a song I'll be like, oh, that's catchy, but.
Well, I think a thing that I have liked about, so when I came to K-pop, it was obviously BTS, and the time when I started watching BTS, they were doing, it was all group promotions. So the first concert I went to was Permission to Dance. Mm-hmm. So in that concert, they didn't do any solo songs because they have done solo songs before, like Euphoria or Epiphany or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like they've had their solo songs, but they've been on the group thing. And at the concert, everybody was on the stage the whole time, and that's what I expected. But then I heard, we chose these songs because we all wanted to be on the stage with you because we haven't seen you for so long. So it was like very tiring because they all were up there the whole time. And then you go and look at older concerts, and they used to be like, Jungkook does Epiphany while everybody else is backstage doing something else. They did they did the ciphers or something like that in performance. So there was more of like OT7 is when I came in. They were all together doing every song, right? Because their 3 English songs have all 7 of them doing them. But then I found out it wasn't like that. I was like, oh, that's different. And so the one way I expected it to be the whole band all the time, and then to find out that's not always the way it is was interesting. So I still haven't. I need to go to a BTS concert where there's only one BTS guy on the stage at a time
and get a different experience.
Yeah. See, Jin.
And they don't have opening bands. They play them.
I love that.
And like that's I think that's great too.
I remember a 3-hour show.
I remember the first concert I went to where there was no opening band. It was Cake.
Yeah.
And they played full sets, and I was like, damn, they're working hard.
Yeah.
And they did. They played for all that. Like you didn't get a shortchange on the show.
Yeah, I went to a local concert.
If you ever get a chance to see Cake, you should go.
Ooh, I like Cake
really
a lot.
good.
They're
really
kind of a jam band a little bit. I went to a show where they didn't have an opener, and the guy started at 7:00, and I was like, this is the concert for me. Because I've never been kind of a late night, so I'm like, start it at 7, end it at 9. Let's be home at 9. That sounds great. I like that idea too, actually. And BTS starts their concerts on time. Like they start them on time.
Nice.
They go for 3 hours. They're exciting, and then they're over.
That's tiring for everyone.
And I think part of like a thing that I like about BTS is like how it's not just I like their music, because I liked I
know it's
a lot.
It's part of how you get. So
it's kind of okay with me if they don't write their own songs. But I mean, to be honest, like Namjoon, Kim Namjoon, who's the leader, he's RM of BTS. He has like the most songwriting credits of any person ever in Korean music history. I don't know if that's true, but like hundreds of songs, because he writes a lot of their songs.
Do you know who writes a ton of songs?
Dolly Parton?
Bing Chan of
yeah.
But yeah. I'm sorry, no one is Dolly Parton. Right. She is.
She writes everybody's
songs. God.
I know, but like I didn't know that Whitney Houston didn't write.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. When it was popular. I mean, I was young. I was like in high school when Whitney Houston's song came
out.
I didn't know it was the Dolly Parton song.
I knew it was Dolly.
And it didn't. And Sinead O'Connor, like her big song "Nothing Compares to You" is actually a Prince song. Did you know that Prince?
I did know that, but I didn't know that when it was out. But I knew it later.
When I found out that, I was like, "That's interesting." I'm not sure that I cared, but I was quick to dismiss BTS or K-pop when I thought they're just a band like New Kids on the Block. Like they can perform, but that's it. But there's more to them. They play instruments. I think everybody in that band plays the piano. Jungkook does drums. Jin can play the guitar. Namjoon did a video the other day where he was playing the piano. Did you know? He's not going to perform at a concert, but Jin has actually performed piano at a concert before. Yes, and Yoongi did guitar and piano at his tour.
I'm glad to know I'm not alone. That you had a certain thought in the beginning. It is an interesting reflection. Because if I haven't given it up for U.S. artists. Like I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I don't listen to her stuff.
She writes all her own
stuff.
But
she writes all her own stuff. And God damn it, totally have mad respect for that woman.
Yeah.
Do I have the same respect for Britney Spears? No. And it has nothing to do with personal life or whatever. Just like Taylor Swift is bringing something to her craft in addition to performing, because Britney can perform.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't listen to either of them, so it's not like I'm financially supporting them at any level. But I do have I am opening my mind, and I then will maybe transfer this idea of it's not a bad thing if somebody else is writing the song, because that somebody has talent. I mean, somebody wrote all these musicals.
Right.
They don't perform them.
Well, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote it and performed it. But not everybody.
Gershwin
You're right.
And what all those guys are.
Right.
They don't, there's something to be said for that. That was talent and it should be appreciated.
And if I ever, become obsessed with, I'm not saying I am obsessed with BTS, but if I ever do become obsessed with, Beyonce or Taylor Swift, I will research to see,
the level
how
you're
much,
obsessed
it
with
it could never happen. But I would, at that time, I would try to find out, did Beyonce write this song? I mean, I know Taylor did because that's the story about her.
But in the old days, you'd get your record or even your cassette tape. I saw this thing about how Generation X, how we're pissed. We had to take our records to cassette tapes, to CDs, to MP3s, and now we have to stream. And I go, I identify with this greatly.
Yeah. Well,
but in the old days, the record and the tape, to a certain extent, the CDs, put who wrote the songs on the sleeves as you read through them.
Yeah.
Then you get to MP3s and you don't have a freaking clue.
Yeah, that's
who
true.
Who wrote what, and it's really hard to go figure it out. So you had an idea back then, much easier.
I was thinking how
which my rant.
How this generation has it so easy because they can just look up the words. If I want to know the lyrics to a song, I'm just what are the lyrics to blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, if you wanted to know the lyrics to the song, you had to play it on your cassette, stop, rewind, play, write it in your notebook.
Why didn't you just have they folded out?
They didn't always.
They didn't always, but
or if you recorded a song off the radio, which I did, I wasn't always buying cassettes with
Oh, I remember waiting for it and then being record, play.
You call and request the song.
Yes.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. I used to call up the local radio station to request that one because I loved it. So I'd record it. I wanted to know the lyrics to a song from Little Mermaid, so I held my little cassette, my little boombox up to the TV and recorded it, and then rewind, play, wrote down the words. Now I know the words.
Honestly, yeah.
So, but my kids are what are the words to blah, blah, blah? Well, I mean, I do that too. What are the words to the new song by JK? And I just look it up.
Well, now, why would we not take advantage of that information at our fingertips?
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Yes, some K-pop write their own stuff, play their own music, and some of them play other music, and it's all cool. Because they're all pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, we're fine with it. Unless they're ones we don't like, in which case we're
It's good for them.
Yeah.
Okay. What word? Do you have a word?
I'm so bad at this. Okay, listen. I am genuinely committed, though, to learning Korean now. Because I went to a local Korean festival, and I volunteered at it. So, and when I went there, all the people in charge and most of the people there were speaking Korean. And so I was like, I felt really dumb because I didn't understand anything, and I think I was useless. And so I was like, I need to commit to this because I want to go to South Korea and visit it, and it would be a lot more fun if I knew the language. So I am committed. So now I have 2 hours every week set aside with my Korean tutor, and I'm really actually going to genuinely learn it. So I have no word.
My word is money.
Money. Oh, yeah.
So there's a couple of BTS songs which I thought they were singing money.
Money, money, money.
Yeah. money. Yeah. Making money.
Yeah.
It's nigga money. Money means like a lot.
A lot.
I also think the same goes for Namu, but I have to double check that.
They say in the one song they say "One money, money." That means I want you a lot.
Yeah, money.
Yeah,
money is a lot. So if I said,
but if you look up the lyrics, you're like BTS money song, it will tell you what song it is.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it will, because they know that we think it's money.
So I love that there was the one. I think it's Lie, making money. I was like always saying nigga money. Okay. All right, that's my word because I had a little epiphany when I was like, that's not money, it's money. Money.
Yeah.
And that means a lot. And that I have other words, but that is, I had a phrase like, what are you thinking? And I've forgotten it. I had it all set, and then we didn't record the other week, and then I've lost it.
We're trying.
I didn't do it. Money.
I hope you have another avenue in which to learn Korean language because just learning it from us is not going to get you there.
I'm going to get you a lot of words. I got a lot of words.
Well, you're doing a better job than me, for sure.
And I have no tutor.
So, did you also know, here's a little insight on the mic drop song when he goes, "Did you see my bag? Did you see my bag?" So, okay, so do you know that BAG stands for Billboard, American Music Award, and Grammy? BAG. No. Somebody asked J-Hope that, and J-Hope's like, yeah, that's what it meant. But we don't have our Grammy yet.
All these acronyms hurt my head.
They use a lot of acronyms.
Can't handle that. I thought it was a bag, like a real bag.
Did you see my bag?
Did you see my bag?
I can't carry it. It's so heavy with trophies. Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay, music awards. Let's do. Okay, so I found a brand new freaking band literally 2 days ago.
Who?
So they're called, I guess we would pronounce it Evnne, Evnne. And I saw a video that I think they did on Music Bank for a song called Trouble. So
this is a boy group.
Yeah, there was a reality show from I read it up, Boys Planet, I think, and the top 9 made it into this temporary band called Zero Base One.
Oh, I've heard of Zero Base One.
And I listened, so they literally got their top 9, and then they recorded a bunch of songs, which I think are not that great. But that's not the band's fault. It's the stupid company's fault. And I don't know. But so then these other 7 kids had some different agencies, and they all figured out how to work together or whatever. And they've created this new band called Evnne from 7 of the contestants who didn't make the top 9 in that. And holy crap, I really like that song.
They're likable. Trouble.
It was really good. And so they had a mini album of 4 songs because they're brand new. But I was like, they literally just debuted.
Good guys.
I feel like I scored one there.
Hey, do a screenshot so you're gonna be like, I was there when they debuted. I was there from the beginning. From 2023, baby. Yeah, that can be your claim to fame. I'm going to say for what I think that you should watch, I think you should watch the Persona music video because it's almost at 100 million views. And that's kind of a fun, Persona by BTS. I think it's a kind of a Namjoon solo.
Oh, okay.
But you should watch the music video because when they pass 100 million views, that's kind of a fun, big moment. And that one's marching right up to it.
I have to take notes so I can put these links into the description.
Hey, go watch some K-pop. Listen to some music.
And yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Annyeong.
Annyeong! Annyeonghaseyo.